Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something really core to professional life,
Mm.
everyday business English.
Exactly. We've got some interesting stuff here, some materials from like an English learning resource.
Yeah, aimed at intermediate speakers, right? People looking to, well, sharpen up their business talk.
That's it. And the mission for everyone listening, it's really to pull out some useful, practical phrases, the kind of things native speakers actually use at work.
Things you hear all the time,
Right. We're zoning in on, say, how to talk about boosting sales, how to suggest ideas.
and how to react when someone else does, yeah.
Precisely. It's about getting those nuances, sounding a bit more natural, more confident.
And this resource, it's structured quite nicely, I thought.
Yeah, it lays it out well. There's some vocabulary first.
Then that sales meeting dialogue, the fast one, then the slow one.
Which is a great way to learn. Plus, specific language takeaways, fluency tips.
And even that bit about management styles, which is always interesting.
Definitely. Okay, so let's get into it, starting with that vocabulary preview.
Yeah, first up, drive sales. Sounds pretty straightforward.
On the surface, yes, it just means, increase sales, sell more stuff. The example they gave was good marketing helps drive sales.
Simple enough.
But, think about it. That phrase, drive sales, it really captures the core goal of so much business activity, doesn't it?
That's a good point. It's active, not passive.
Exactly. It's about that constant push. Okay, next term, promotion.
Ah, right. And this is where context is key, yeah, because promotion can mean different things.
Absolutely critical here. We're not talking about getting a better job title.
No climbing the ladder here.
No. In this context, a promotion is, well, a marketing thing, a tactic to get people buying.
Like a special offer.
Exactly. Think buy one, get one free. That's a classic promotion.
Okay,
Or maybe just cutting the price for a bit, like something was $5, now it's $4 for a week.
got it. So sales tactics, basically.
Yep, a key tool for marketers trying to, well, drive sales. See, it connects. Okay, so after the vocab, the resource throws us into that sales meeting dialogue. And they started fast.
Yeah, which I think is smart. It gives you that real world feel straight away.
Mhm.
Conversations are often fast.
True. It can be tough to keep up sometimes.
But then they break it down, focusing on these language takeaway phrases.
Mm.
That's where the gold is, I think.
Okay, so what's the first one?
Match the competitors.
Right. Match the competitors. So what does that really mean in practice? Is it just price?
It can be price, but not only price. It's about making sure what you offer, price, features, quality, whatever, is, on par with your rivals,
Keeping up with the Joneses business style.
pretty much. And the examples they use show the different angles. Like someone might say, we guarantee we can match the competitor's lowest price.
Okay, that's fighting talk. Aggressive.
Definitely. Or you might hear the opposite, like, our costs are too high to match the competitors, which flags a big problem.
Yeah, a strategic issue right there. And then the really tricky one. Can we match our competitors' prices and still keep quality high?
Ah, the balancing act. That's the million-dollar question for a lot of businesses, isn't it?
It really is. How to stay competitive without wrecking your product or service. Okay, next phrase. In the market.
In the market. So not just at the market buying apples.
No. In this business sense, in the market means like within your industry, among all the competing companies or products.
Competitive landscape.
Exactly. The examples were pretty clear. EnglishPod is the best language podcast in the market.
Bit biased maybe, but okay.
Well, it shows the usage. Or iPods are the most popular MP3 players in the market. A bit dated now, maybe?
Showing its age slightly, but illustrates the point.
Right. It shows how you talk about who's dominant, who's popular within a specific category. You need to know where you stand in the market.
Makes total sense. Okay, last one of these key phrases. And this one sounds a bit more casual. It'll never fly.
Yeah, this is definitely more informal. And these colloquialisms are super useful, aren't they? Because people use them all the time.
They really do. So, it'll never fly means,
It just means it won't work. The idea is bad, or it won't get approved. It's a pretty blunt way of shooting something down.
okay, blunt is right, maybe use with caution.
Yeah, definitely need some awareness there. You don't want to sound dismissive, especially to your boss, maybe, but it's very direct.
And the examples paint a picture. This plan will never fly, it's too expensive. You can just hear that in a meeting.
Totally. Or the funny one, selling bikinis in Alaska. That'll never fly.
Obvious fail.
Right. And that movie idea will never fly. It's not interesting enough. A bit harsh, but clear feedback.
Ouch. Okay, so it's about feasibility, viability, whether something has a chance.
Exactly. And like you mentioned earlier, after introducing these phrases, they played the dialogue again, but slower.
Which really helps cement them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Lets you actually hear them in context without the pressure.
Definitely a good learning technique.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that covers the main phrases from the dialogue. Then the resource moves into these fluency builder insights.
Right. This is about sounding more natural, less like reading from a textbook. The little tweaks.
Yeah, the subtle stuff that makes a big difference. The first example they give is instead of saying, like, he will arrive soon,
Which is perfectly correct grammar.
totally correct, but what sounds more natural, more common.
You'll be here any minute.
Exactly, he'll be here any minute. It just flows better, sounds more immediate.
Yeah, it has that feeling of expectation. Okay, what else?
Moving from something we should think about to, it sounds like something we should consider.
Subtle difference there. Why consider?
Well, consider often implies a bit more serious thought, more formal evaluation, maybe, especially in a business setting. Think about is fine, but consider can add a bit more weight.
Okay, interesting nuance, like you're taking it more seriously.
Perhaps. And the last one was about leveling up from just saying, great idea.
Good.
That's a brilliant idea.
Adding some enthusiasm.
Yeah. And they noted it can sound a bit more British or maybe slightly more formal sometimes, which is useful to know.
Definitely. Brilliant feels stronger than just great, like you're genuinely impressed.
Right. And the point is, these small changes, any minute, consider, brilliant idea, they add up. They make your English sound, well, more fluent.
Less robotic, more natural.
Exactly. It's moving beyond just being correct to actually sounding, like people really talk.
Right. Now, after the fluency tips, the resource took a bit of a turn, didn't it? Into management styles.
Ah, yes, the boss section. This is always a hot topic.
And that manager in the dialogue, well, they weren't painted in the best light.
No, definitely not. Came across as pretty unsupportive, critical.
Cutting people off.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
Not the kind of boss who makes you feel safe sharing ideas.
Okay.
And their resource contrasts that with what makes a good manager.
Which is?
Someone supportive, motivating, someone who creates that environment where it's okay to speak up, even with a half-baked idea.
That psychological safety thing.
Exactly. It highlights how crucial communication and just interpersonal skills are for anyone in charge.
So true. And didn't one of the people behind the resource share a story about a good boss?
Yeah, a personal anecdote about a manager who, remembered everyone's names.
Small thing, but makes a difference.
Huge difference. And someone who genuinely encouraged people to grow, fostered a really positive atmosphere.
We've probably all experienced both ends of that spectrum, haven't we? A great boss and maybe a not so great one.
Absolutely. And you really feel the difference. That feeling of being valued, supported, it changes how you work, how you communicate.
Definitely. It really circles back to communication, doesn't it? Not just the words, but the whole approach.
It does. That story was a good reminder of what effective leadership communication looks like in the real world.
Okay, so, wow, we've covered quite a bit there. From specific vocab like drive sales.
It'll never fly.
Those fluency tips like be here any minute or that's a brilliant idea.
And wrapping up with that discussion on management and communication impact.
So for everyone listening, the real takeaway here is to try and use some of these.
Definitely. Don't try to use them all at once, maybe, but pick one or two. Drive sales, match the competitors, it'll never fly. Brilliant idea. Be here any minute. Try slipping them into your work conversations. See how it feels.
Yeah, even small changes can shift how people perceive you, how effective your communication is.
Absolutely.
And maybe a final thought to leave folks with. Take a second to think about the managers you've had. The good, the bad, the somewhere in between.
Good reflection exercise.
Yeah. How did their style affect your communication? Your willingness to speak up, your overall approach?
And maybe think about how incorporating even just a couple of these phrases we talked about today, could it subtly change your interactions moving forward?
Food for thought. It's always a work in progress, isn't it? Refining how we communicate professionally.